This is the MGM 1-month overview reading for the month of January 2024. It's currently November 26, 2023, 6:53 p.m. Eastern Time. MGM at the time of this reading is currently $40.22. That's USD. And the shuffle video for the January reading was created on October 25th, 2023 at 1:42 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So the overall theme and behavior for MGM in January is a prominent peak on at least a 1-month chart, probably on a year-to-date chart, prominent peak that we sell off from pretty notably. It's mixed with erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, a price level that's important on a 1-month scale minimum. And it's erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, in the midst of which we revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. We may revisit a trough as well. It's possible based on what I'm seeing. We'll talk about that in more detail as we progress. Behavior around the high side, we have sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears inflow and outflow. So we should either see like a tight sideways range, like along a support level near the high, or we should see wide swings, one of the two. But it's going to be like back and forth behavior, moving sideways overall near the high. And then a lot of price change to meet the low. It looks like the price level around the MGM low for January is a price level that you could probably trade around pretty notably in both directions. I'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. But there's a lot of volatility and a lot of price change to meet the low. The high and the lows are also within close time proximity to each other on a 1-month chart scale. It should be within a few days' time of each other. Before we go any further, though, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. Now, we do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. It's the unwritten agreement between the universe and anybody utilizing this information for personal gain. The universe has no problem with people utilizing this information for personal gain as long as it's simultaneously being utilized to help other people as well. So the way that you guarantee to do that is by following the rule of karma for the channel. You do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of the profits of all profitable trades should be donated forward to one of these charities. Just click on a link and donate, and 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel as a thank you and to help support the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube. That leaves you at 90% of the money. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, my friends, you're an angel investor of the channel. The universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel. Neglect to follow through, the universe will neglect to follow through as well, my friends. Let's get into it. Blessings to all my angel investors. Each of these cards going left to right across the screen that are numbered represent 1 day out of the month. It's important to understand that not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with 1 day of time. So you have to give it plus or minus a day of wiggles room. In a lot of cases, you won't need to do that, but in cases where we're off, it'll be off by like a day or so, plus or minus a day or so in cases like that. So in cases like that, just make sure to follow the sequence of events of chart behavior. That never deviates, and that should keep you on track. Also, remember to trade responsibly, my friends. I'm not right all the time. All right, so we have off on the first for the new year, and then there's a rally into a key resistance level on a multi-day scale there on the second. Looks like it's probably towards the later part of the day there on the second, and then we decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down into a prominent trough around the cusp of the third, fourth. It looks like we probably revisit that trough with another decline on the fourth. Either that or it's like a trough that we just saw. It might be a trough that we just saw at the beginning of the day on the second. There's a trade opportunity is there. I'll talk about it in more detail in the paid version. On the fifth, there's an important resistance level highlighted on a multi-day scale there, and it looks like volatility will kind of flatten out around that resistance level. Important resistance level on a multi-day scale, and volume and volatility should flatten out around that. On the 8th, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance and a peak that's formed in doing so, followed by a decline through key support. That's on a multi-day scale, and technicals will lead us to believe that we're going to break out through that price level, but instead we turn around and we decline through key support there on the 8th into a trough towards the end of the day. But the very next day, we establish support, and then there's a big move higher on a multi-day scale, taking us to a high mid to late in the day, and then we do sideways rotation near the high. Remember, sideways rotation around the high is high, so that makes sense. We'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. Off of that prominent peak there, we have a sideways fluctuating decline into a trough towards the end of the day on the 10th. Trade opportunity both on the 9th and the 10th. I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. And then a prominent trough on the cusp of the 10th, 11th. Looks like a lot of price change on the 11th into the 12th. A lot of price change, it looks like, to the downside. And an important trade opportunity there on the 12th as well. Again, I'll talk about it in more detail in the paid version. So another prominent trough towards the end of the day on the 12th. There's some pretty erratic behavior there, it looks like, on the 12th. We have off on the 15th for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And then there's a reversal there, a trade opportunity in the midst of a notable reversal that'll stand out on a 1-month chart at minimum. We have a prominent trough here in the midst of a decline off of that reversal there on the 16th, the prominent trough on the 17th that'll form. So we have like out of the trough, we have like erratic behavior, and we revisit a crest here around the end of the day on the 18th. And then we decline to and through support to meet a second support and rotate sideways into the 19th. Day trade opportunity on the 19th. Again, I'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. And it looks like it's a mixed day on the 19th, but there's definite trade opportunities there on the 19th, which we'll talk about again in more detail in the paid version. We have a period of volatility on the 22nd and a fast sudden move higher marking the end of that period of volatility. 3 pokes through the same price level on the 23rd, followed by a sharp drop off of that third poke. Sideways fluctuating rally on the 24th that precedes a decline. Looks like we rally into a key resistance level towards the end of the day at a peak. And then we have a sharp drop towards the end of the day, maybe even a gap down at the very end of the day there. But not to worry, I'm advised not to chase that decline. The following day, we have a notable move higher reaching for a distant resistance. We're creating another prominent peak or crest for the month. And then we have a breakout on a multi-day scale there on the 26th, taking us to another prominent peak or crest. On the 29th, we likely open lower, and then there's a notable move higher early in the morning on the 30th. We have a failed attempt to break the key resistance and a sharp decline through key support into another prominent trough. Oh, I left out that we probably also have a prominent trough on the 26th before that big move to a prominent peak on the 26th. On the 31st, we have bumping along resistance sideways, possibly breaking through and continuing to bump along sideways, maybe breaking through multiple times, but the overall behavior will be bumping along resistance sideways. It's bullish. Sneak preview for February is a near overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels into a prominent trough. And that's MGM for January 2024, my friends. If you like this stuff, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the channel to do so. If you've already subscribed, please share this with somebody. That also helps out the channel a lot. Most importantly, make sure to follow the rule of karma. That's how the channel survives. Much appreciation to everybody who does so. You know where to go. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version. All right, so you can see the science card. It marked an important price level in 2020, and that was at a trough. And then there was, it looks like, bullish price swings. Big move higher, sun card, bullish price swings. Yeah, those are bullish price swings. And then a trough in 2022. You can see how that took place. A big move out of that trough in 2022 into 2023, and then we should see a pretty notable decline. So what's interesting, at the end of 2023, we have this completion card, and then in the 2024 reading, the completion card appears as the low in January. So it's likely that we have an early trough. In any case, the trade would have been at the end of 2023 to open up a short position or close long positions. You'd look to close the short position here in the January low, probably in the third week or so, after a prominent peak that we sell off from pretty notably on a multi-day scale. And it's a pop and drop here kind of throughout 2024. We see the lovers card there. There's that universe card right there for 2023. So cross-reading congruencies lining up pretty well. Interesting. I think we might actually still be in bullish price swing. And the sun card is kind of like, this might be the case pointing towards 2025. That would be a little bit of a push. In either case, it's kind of like a pop and drop here. I'd also want to position myself around that low for a trade opportunity at a high in February. So a couple places where I close out of the short that was opened in December. You could do so here on the 4th when we revisit a support level in the midst of a notable decline here. It'll be a support level that we either saw at the beginning of the day on the 2nd, or it'll be at like somewhere towards the very end of December. I didn't do monthlies for MGM in 2023, so I don't have a monthly to look at. At that revisiting of that support, that's where I would close out. If I miss that opportunity, I'd likely wait for 12th. And if that doesn't end up being a good opportunity, then I would wait for the 16th, 17th. That's likely where the lowest low is. The lowest low is either here in the first week between the 2nd and the 3rd, 4th, or it's here between the 16th, 17th. In a lot of the one months for January, it's here in the 16th, 17th with a prominent trough or low in the first week, but a lowest low here in the 16th, 17th. As far as highest highs, I think our highest highs for the month follow the same as many of the January readings. We have highest highs here around the 9th, 10th, and then we come back to highest highs here towards the end of the month, around the 25th, 26th. Now, so I don't think we're here. We're cross-reading congruencies put us right on track, but there should be a notable move ending the period of decline here in 2025, it looks like. So what I would want to do in this case early in the year is I would want to be getting into a bullish position, closing the short, opening up a long. So again, close the short, like I said, and as far as opening up a long, I might open up a partial here on the 12th, and then if we do go lower, I'd open up the remainder here. If it's the same price level as the 12th here on the 17th, 18th, or lower, I would complete that long position, or that opening up that long position. I'd be looking for an important price level on a multi-day scale, and like a prominent trough that forms after a peak and a decline off of that peak. An important range on the 12th as well. We also very likely revisit that low again on the 19th, and that's where there's a pretty juicy day trade in here. All right, so what we have is we have two local highs on the 19th, meaning that on a one-day chart we should see two peaks or crests. What you'd want to do is there's a couple ways you could play it, but probably when we have multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance, or we come up against the resistance level that we failed to break through many times before on a one-day chart, I would utilize that as an entry for a short. And then after a sharp decline through multiple support levels, and we start to rotate sideways along key support on a one-day chart, that's where I would exit. And I'd want to do so quickly because off of the trough on the 19th, there is a rally that increases with momentum. Like I said, it's a mixed day, but that would be the day trade. In the midst of the decline here on the 4th to a trough, probably towards the end of the day, that forms after a decline off of a near overbought peak or crest into a trough here towards the 4th around that trough. I would open up a long. You could close that long on the 9th, but that would be a little risky because the overall trend seems to be pretty much to the downside. I think you could pull that off. So I would close it there towards the beginning of the day or earlier part of the day at a highest high for the month thus far. Based on this completion card here and this completion card here, it's like the rally, it looks like we rally right into the cusp of December, January. That rally ends, we have a trough, and then it looks like we have more moving to the upside. And this is where there's a pop and drop. I'm not really picking up too much price level information as far as that goes. As far as overall performance in comparison to the S&P 500, looks really similar. It looks really similar, guys. Yeah, the S&P 500 outperforms MGM in January 2024. And that's MGM for January 2024, my friends. Thank you so much for supporting the channel with the paid version. Let me know how you guys do. Love to hear stories of people making money. It's really invaluable to get comments like that for the channel as well. So much appreciation to all my angel investors and all my supporters. Blessings. Love you. I'll see you guys on the next one. You know where to go. You know what to do.